أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. So a few hadiths in this regard that we have discussed is the following. The first one is from Rasulullah himself, who says to Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ya Ali, uktub ma umli alayk, write down what I am dictating to you. Amir al-Mu'mineen asked a question, Ya Rasulullah, O Prophet of God, do you fear that I may forget? He says, La waqad da'awtu Allah azza wa jal. No, not at all, because I have beseeched Allah an yaj'alaka hafidhan, that, whatever you hear, you never forget anything. Walakin uktub. But however, I want you to write, لِشُرَكَائِكَ الْأَئِمَّةِ, for the other imams, min wuldik, who are to come from your progeny, bihim tusqa ummati al-ghayth. Through them, through those imams, the rainfall will descend. وَبِهِمْ يُسْتَجَابْ دُعَاؤُهُمْ. Through these imams, the people's du'as will be accepted. وَبِهِمْ, and through them, Allah will ward off any calamity. وَبِهِمْ, and through them, the mercy of Allah will descend from the sky. And this is the first of them from your progeny. وَأَشَارَ إِلَى الْحَسَنِ, and he pointed towards Imam Hassan alayhi salam. ثُمَّ قَالَ, and then he said, the Holy Prophet said, وَهَذَا ثَانِيُهُمْ, and this is the second one after you from your progeny. وَأَشَارَ إِلَى الْحُسَيْنِ, and he pointed towards Imam Hussein alayhi salam. ثُمَّ قَالَ, and then he said, وَالْأَئِمَّةُ مِنْ وُلْدِهِ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُمْ, and the rest of the imams are going to be from his progeny, meaning Imam Hussein's progeny. May Allah be pleased with all of them. In another hadith, he says to the people, he says, learn from the Ahlul Bayt, learn from the imams of the Ahlul Bayt. وَلَا تُعَلِّمُوهُم, do not try to teach them anything. فَإِنَّهُمْ أَعْلَمُ مِنْكُمْ, because they are more knowledgeable than you. And the earth will never be empty of any of them. وَلَوْ خَلَتْ لَأَنْسَاخَتْ بِأَهْلِهَا, if ever it was ever to become empty of them and without a hujjat of God upon the earth, it would collapse basically, بِأَهْلِهَا, with everyone on it. It would sort of implode or collapse on itself. ثُمَّ قَالَ, and then he prayed, Allahumma innaka, O Allah, surely you will never leave your earth without a hujjah, a proof upon your creatures. Yeah, that's the second hadith. لِأَلَّا تُبْتَلْ حُجَّتُكَ وَلَا تُضِلُّ أَوْلِيَاءَكَ بَعْدَ إِذْ هَدَيْتَهُمْ, because the end of this hadith is, he prayed, Oh Allah, definitely you will never leave your earth without one of your hujjats, and by this your religion will never become voided, and your friends and your lovers, once they are guided, will never become misguided. In other words, the imams are there to make sure of Allah's guidance and are there to make sure that the deen of Allah, the religion of Allah, is always maintained. Then we have another hadith which says, لو خلت الأرض طرفة عين من حجة لساخت بأهلها. Very similar. If the earth would be left even for the blinking of an eye without one of the proofs of Allah, one of the hujjats of Allah, لساخت بأهلها, it would collapse with everyone on it. In other words, the whole of the earth and everything on it would just go into destruction. In another hadith, we have, I believe this is from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. He says, never has the earth been empty of the hujjat of Allah, and it will never be empty of the Hujjat of Allah. From the time of Adam alayhi salam until now, it has been like this, and until the time of Qiyamah, it will stay like this. If the earth would ever be without a Hujjat, Allah would not be worshipped. However, it should be known that this Hujjat of Allah sometimes is outward and obvious and is recognized, and sometimes it is hidden and will remain unrecognized. In other words, like, for example, the present time, there is no openly available Imam. He's in ghaibat, he's in occultation. So he may not be, we can't point to him and say, there he is. No, but he is there. So first question was, does Allah choose the ulama and fuqaha, or does that come under tawfiq that they have from Allah? So we can never say that Allah directly chooses anyone unless we have evidence for it. So he chooses Anbiya, he chooses Aimma alayhimus salam. We cannot say that he chooses ulama directly. Yes, he gives tawfiq. People they have free will, they're not ma'soom. So they can choose to act on that tawfiq and become great scholars. And alhamdulillah, our Shia tradition has great scholars. We are indebted to them. Or they can choose not to. Who God knows how many more scholars we may have had, but they chose not to for whatever reason, circumstance, life, tawfiq, whatever it is. So we can never say that Allah chooses the ulama and fuqaha, but we can say that yes, he gives tawfiq, and these people, they act on that tawfiq and he helps them further, etc., etc. Yeah, so we can never say that Allah chooses anyone unless we have evidence for it. So Anbiya and Aimma alayhimus salam, these are the ones we can say that he has chosen them directly because we have evidence for it. So I hope that answers the first question. Second question is, who was the Hujjah on earth between birth of Prophet Muhammad and Nabi Isa? This was a time period which has a specific name. It's called the period of Fatra. Fatra means kind of like slumber or heedlessness. So this was a time when there were no new prophets from Allah, Nabi Isa, followed by Rasulullah himself. So who was the Hujjah? Hujjah doesn't always have to be a prophet. Hujjah can also be the successor of the prophet. There were successors of Nabi Isa. Amongst them, we believe we have evidence that even Hazrat Abu Talib was one of these successors in the line of the followers of the religion of Nabi Ibrahim and Nabi Isa, that continuation of the divine religion of Allah. There may have been others as well, generation after generation. So these were the hujjats of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But this is a long discussion. We don't have time now to go into the depths. But rest assured, we just take the hadith and we have full iman when our imams tell us that the earth is never ever without a hujjat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the main thing. So that brings us to the end of our discussion on the line from Ziyarat Jamia of Assalamu ala Aimmatil Huda. And next session we will do wa masabih Hujjah.